And as you wait, you all wait and you wait. Another 24 hours pass. They bring you more food. They ignore any attempts for you to speak to them. By the second full day you've been in here, going on the third, there is no food delivered. They don't come at their usual time. It starts to get really bad at the end of the third day. At the end of the day, Kitchen begins the process. Nobody comes even with the ruckus of Kitchen's burning out this arm, the smell of electrical fire, basically, as he starts to chip away at the brass plating that holds the lock in place. It's kind of an odd angle, and it will take a while. The start of day number 4. Kitchens has been going almost all night, barely. Your hearts jump out of your chest as all three of you look to the left as Ren is kind of like jiggling and fiddling with the door. Down at the end of the corridor, much similar to the way you saw it earlier, Vince, there's a silhouette of a bipedal creature. It kind of... and you can hear it breathing. Its arms seem a little elongated. Its back is like hunched and kind of malformed, and its head looks almost as if it's been put through a vice. It's kind of stretched, and it looks rabidly down at all of you. It's quite a ways away. It seemed to have maybe crossed the left you didn't take, and it sees all of you and begins running your direction. As it does, every once in a while, much like a gorilla, its knuckles will hit the ground to gain speed.
Gross.
As every time its knuckles hit the ground, it probably leaves behind a bit of flesh or something that sticks behind, much like before, and it comes running at all of you. The door clicks open.
I feel like everyone just barrels in after her.
It's like pours in the room.
Yeah. What is happening? Why are you... What?
There's an alien gorilla man.
Slam the door.
As you slam the door behind Ren, and Ren goes, "What's going on?" There is the sound of heavy limbs. Boom, boom. As they smash the door, put something there, but it does slam its body once more, and as it does, the door bends, it arches, it creases, and it eats open, and there's a space about this big, and you can see its gangly hand and arm are trying to squeeze through, ripping the disgusting flesh off of it as it tries to get at all of you.
Barden, I think maybe a little fire is...
Point to Barden.
4, and it catches fire, and you hear it kind of scream out as it backs off of the door, and you're watching its whole body, like it's in one of those Hollywood fire suits, like goes up in flames, and the disgusting flesh on the outside begins to burn, and ember and smoke, and it kind of slams its body against the wall, and it's like flailing about in an unnatural way as it's like screaming and hollering. Everybody manages to slip by as you kind of back against the wall and slide past it as it's like screaming and hollering, and it keeps reaching for all of you. Its melting flesh is like keeping it almost pinned to the wall in a certain way, as it kind of screams out, and as the flesh drips off of it like thick, you can see that the DNA kind of consumes itself in its death. It begins to kind of lets off an infection into the air. The three of you run off back down the stairs. You have to keep going, another floor and another floor. And when you make it to the kind of deck or the level with all of the transportation, as you open the door from the stairwell quietly, you can hear the sound of mass chaos. People screaming, and not sick screaming, like actual activity happening. And as you round the corner, your heart jumps into your throat, as I imagine you kind of mom are the group to not come around the corner. And what you see are the station's what's left of the monk force, the actual like combat force of the vessel. All these white robed monks or white suited monks with the black beads are in physical hand-to-hand combat because they don't use weapons, in some kind of very highly trained martial arts, and they are fighting off a horde of these strange, disgusting creatures. This far into all of this, there's only about 20 or 30 of them left, and their hands and their feet are extra bound so that they're not touching them with bare skin anymore. You witness them fighting, and one of them turns and goes, "Oh no, he's gonna explode!" And one of the more gangly creatures, even worse than the one that you saw down in the basement, You can see that it's got large patches of skin that have kind of darkened and flaked away. Muscle tissue and ligaments follow suit, and their bones have grown kind of brittle. You can hear them crack as they punch them. The body is in full decay. And you watch as this guy goes to punch it, and as he punches through air, as the body kind of disintegrates, and as it does, it poofs into this black cloud. And a few of the monks dive and kind of cover their faces, and another one gets caught right in the middle of it. And you see him kind of breathe it in, and as he does, in kind of a panic, he begins to like cough and hack. The creatures stop attacking him and then turn back to more of them. It seems like you just witnessed the final phase of this infestation, this sickness. And this combat is happening near some naturally built barricades that have been put into place that go down and into the docks. You probably have to stand because it's high on the wall, and as you creep up and you unlock it, sure enough, the case, as it kind of folds back the way a bread box does, almost like into the wall, the lid does, there's a light like of hiss of pressure that lets free. And as the kind of mist clears, you see that the location, the tag for the mushroom that you're looking for, the area where they are growing, other than the like core spores, they've all been picked. They are gone. Yeah, you beat per card, and immediately it gives you kind of the panel of options, and you put it on kind of a bio lockdown, which is the quickest option. The door slams shut, and you hear it, the lock kind of engage right as this humanoid thing smashes into it. And as it does, you really get a good look at its face, and you can see the bloodshot eyes and how much pain it's actually in. And at one point, you think that it mutters, "Help me," before it begins banging on the glass again after you. And then down the hallway, one bang leads to another, and more creatures begin banging on doors and walls from other facilities here inside of these greenhouses. Every door banging, the creatures going wild, locked inside, slowly decaying to their own death. Kitchen slowly walks away to catch up with the rest of it.
Arise, minions, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We are here for the season finale. That's right, season finale. We have another season coming up sometime in May, I think. Don't quote me on that.
That's the first time we've said that publicly, Mike.
That's true. That's the first time. We said it privately to Patreon last week, and now you get the whole shebang. Season 4 is going to be a mini-series. It's going to be probably like 6-ish episodes coming out in May to wrap up this story. If you are not a patron, we are taking patron responses for what you think the new season should be called. We got some good ones. So if you like what we do here and you want to support the channel, the best way to do that is over on our aforementioned Patreon. Link for that down below. Join us at the $5 tier and you get access to all these after shows that I was just talking about. While you're down there clicking on that link, join us in the Discord, be a part of the community, be a part of the conversation. And as always, in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see the corruption bar. That bar serves two purposes. One is when that bar fills, Dot does terrible things to us, like gooey man aliens, and two, every single dollar that goes into that bar goes back to these wonderful, amazing faces that you see here before you. And with that, Dot, goo us up, baby.
All right. It seems only apropos that I take a second to remind us where we all started. It is the end. Exodus, yes, you could say. For people who did not even know they were going to take on the responsibility of the knowledge of the space beast, have come so very far. When we started this campaign, I read a letter to all of you. And it said something very specific in it, which is that humans are always the builders of their own demise. They created artificial intelligence and thus David, and David in return created something that would come back around and haunt them. It has returned to them. The safest place they believed in the entire galaxy. is now infected with the same virus they attempted to save themselves and others from. Barden, Ren, and Vince stand just around the corner of this wooden hallway that has been recovered and refurnished by these monks. And what's left of the monk fighting force is in current combat with something new. Creature you have not necessarily seen, but is also not entirely alien to you. Just for funsies, I'm going to roll. Reminder, Kitchens is not here. Okay. You watch as one of these kind of humanoid creatures, one of them has recently exploded and they're kind of all coughing and they've dissipated. And as they begin to back up, one of the other creatures sees an opportunity and it jumps for one of the monks. And as it does, it grabs his head and begins, content warning, 5 seconds to mute yourself if you need it. He begins to gouge out his eyes with these elongated thumbs that fit almost entirely through his skull. The monk yells as it kind of bounds off his body and back against the wall. And the monk is now screaming, holding his face. Oh, do we get a corruption bar? Oh, great. Good. Because I had one left, but
we don't have one yet.
Oh, we don't have one yet. Oh, bit of corruption. I'm sorry. Thank you for the clarification. I mean, if y'all want to make me that happy again, you could just fill that bar right now.
Yeah, do it for real.
That being said, what do the three of you do? What you see is kind of a barricade that has been built up that blocks a set of like doors that are very narrowly cracked that clearly go out into what would be the leeway onto the docks, right? Where you entered originally, where they flew you in.
Is there a clear path to the
By clear path, you're there. The combat is like happening right out front of these doors. They're trying to keep them from getting to the docks. This might be the pushback point, right? They're holding the front line.
And you said there were civilians here too, right? Or no?
You do not. You heard civilians, but you do not see civilians. You might imagine maybe they're on the other side of the doors that they were trying to get people, like, there might have been some kind of rescue mission or chase. You're not entirely sure, but in a quick moment of taking the moment in, you get the idea that maybe just by the activity on the other side of the doors, more than likely any kind of civilians left are on the other side.
Okay. What is there like debris or like anything as far as like, I don't know, metal poles or even like some long elongated like makeshift weapon that we could use,
So you all do have some guns, and no, the fire incinerator was left with
kitchens.
Yeah, was
Right.
left with
Yes.
kitchens. Okay. I would say like I said, you do see a few, like there are some barricades, there are some like junk left around. We did hit the first corruption bar. Thank you, everybody. And I will say there is a pipe hidden behind some vines, right? It's mostly hidden, but there's like a pipe if you wanted to try to break it off a wall or pull it down apart from the plumbing.
Okay. And
But
is there
most metal in
anything-
here is covered.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is there anything that's visibly flammable?
Oh, Rin. Why don't you make a survival check?
Okay. I can do that.
It's a little
Survival.
sciencey for Rin, but we're gonna see how high you roll in survival.
Probably terribly. We'll see. Oh, 1 success. Better than none.
Okay. Is there something flammable? The answer is yes. You were trapped in a hole in the middle of this station for a few days, but there was supposed to be technology that created a natural atmosphere, an atmosphere. There was no technology in there. But at the same time, you're not floating away. People can walk on the top deck. So the question is, what creates the atmosphere? Maybe all of this greenery, since that's kind of how basic science works. I think Ren would be know that like you need oxygen. Plants create natural oxygen
Right.
in atmospheres. Um, but this is as natural as it gets. And it is a rather condensed atmosphere, which means there's a possibility this whole thing is flammable with the amount of oxygen in the air. You could light this whole place up with the right couple moves.
Mm-hmm. How long has it been now that we've been here since we left kitchens? Because
Mm.
Rin is feeling like it's possible that she's not gonna be able to make it to a suit and then make it back through, like, at this point.
About 10 minutes, give or take, right? Because y'all split and you had to go a couple flights of stairs down. So you're almost at the 10-minute mark. So Kitchens is not quite finished with his investigation of like
Right,
crawling
right,
on the
right.
floor through the room yet.
Okay. Would it
Uh,
be possible to start pulling some of the organic, drier plant
Yeah.
life, and just kind of like, I don't know, not really, I'm not making a barricade, but trying to kind of create almost like a space for a fire?
Yeah, sure. Do you want to do it so they do not notice you? Because they're not very far off. If so, I will need some kind of check from you if you want to remain in.
Um, Mobility?
Yeah, I'll take a mobility check to be able to build this in secret. Sure. And what
Yeah.
about the other two? You see Ren kind of take all of this in and begins kind of ripping down dry vines and things from the wall and bits of the boards that will creak up from the floor and begins kind of building a small pile.
I have two things, Dot. One, because this is the most nerdiest show we've done together. I would like to note, for science sake, as the resident scientist, um, uh, pure oxygen is not inherently flammable, but just makes flammable things more flammable. So you're not at risk of lighting the
This
atmosphere
whole
on fire.
thing is a giant wooden.
Yeah. The wood becomes more flammable, but like
Yeah, so the
not the
everything here. So
atmosphere.
the question was,
atmosphere.
is there something to light on fire?
Yeah.
The answer is
The whole
yes.
station. The whole station for sure.
The whole station is flammable.
Yeah, I think in one of the clips there was implication that the atmosphere might be flammable.
Oh
last
yeah, no, you're
episode.
not gonna light up like the air, but
Yeah.
in the with the right moves, you could light this whole thing up based on the amount of oxygen and dryness of this
Yes.
place.
My second thing is based on all of the David shit that we have researched, Kitchens and I, and seeing gooey gorilla man leaving his goo and burning and becoming ashes and seeing the hallway full of ashes, I would like to make an analysis roll to study or to posit on the ashes in the air, the black flaky fluff.
Interesting. Okay, sure, because you're gonna get questions right,
Yeah.
and if you fail, everybody gets more stress.
No, it's actually the opposite. Nothing happens if I fail, I think, but if I do succeed, everyone reduces stress.
Oh, I thought it included both.
It might, and I might have copied and pasted it incorrectly, but that's what I have on
That's
my
okay.
page.
Hey, you might not have. I could be wrong about that. I want to look that up though. 'Cause I
4
feel like
successes is what I'm gonna give you there.
4 successes. So
Yeah.
you're gonna get a question. Now this okay, just for everybody at home, really quick. This is on your scientist build.
This is the
where this comes from?
analysis talent for
Talent is a
scientists.
talent. It's a talent
Yeah, correct.
for scientists.
And you
Oh,
basically get to ask one
file.
question for
Rough.
every success on this thing. And it
You
gives you some suggestions below. Um,
skills.
so everyone around me can recover one
Yep.
one stress level. I feel like it's obviously that this is alien in the is this human or alien question. I don't think that could be any more obvious for that. None of these questions that they suggest really apply here. My main question, and you can use any number of my suggestions here, is based on the information I have, right? Based on the original goo pathogen, based on the spores that I believe David had researched, I can assume spores, dust particles, there's a similar pollination effect happening here. How quickly do I think this works? And how best with rudimentary devices that we have around us can we protect ourselves are my two questions.
Okay, that's a good two questions. To answer your first question, um, hang on. Okay. You watch as another one of these creatures jumps and just just lands a heavy thud of a punch against this guy who smashes up next to a wall. You know that whatever is going on is based on the changing of the DNA. That the goo has altered the DNA. It is eating away the DNA of this human. That's why it turns to goo at the end. The ash is a way, just like a lot of different viruses, to kill it, right? So the ash that you're seeing is actually the burned up goo. It is not infectious. The explosion that body did released black spores. That is extremely infectious. More than likely, a single inhale puts you at risk of becoming contaminated. And because there is no cure or way back from this infection, because it is at a DNA level, once you are infected, you are as good as dead.
Okay. And do we have any way with what we currently have to protect ourselves?
Yes. A basic hazmat suit is a first level of deflection of anything that you might inhale. Any kind of goo that might get on your skin or on an orifice like your eyes or your mouth. So a hazmat suit is a surefire way to assure you aren't infected immediately. Now, these creatures, unlike the Xenos you've seen in the past, have 5 digits, including a thumb. So you can rightfully assume they might be agile in different ways. They could take your helmet off. They could hold you down. But a hazmat suit would assure that you are not instantly infected.
Cool. That's what Barden is doing. He will be looking for a hazmat suit. Or several.
In this hall, I was about to say, in this hallway, probably not. You'd have to go back if you wanted to. This is basically just the opening piece before you hit the major gangway where the ships pull in.
Okay. I mean, he's going to keep his eye out for anything
now on the ship deck, it might be a different story.
Yeah. I assume to avoid decompression, there must be emergency oxygen
emergency
tanks
suits. A space suit would also be a way to keep viruses off of you or this infection out. There would be some of those on the other side of that set of doors.
Cool.
You get one more question?
I mean, technically I have 4, so if you're going to let me keep going, then my other question is, do I think, this can be 2 questions here. Do I think that the spores and or the particles need to be inhaled, or is it on contact?
Great question. I need everybody to make an immediate panic as one of the creatures throws its head back and lets out this screech asserting dominance. Kind of beats its chest a little bit. Corruption part number 2. Y'all really want some bad stuff to happen.
Oh no.
Because I'm going to use them. You know how I am. We're not going into another season sitting on any, so 3 tonight.
Oh, great.
Okay, everybody's keeping it together. As you all continue working in your various ways. Now, before I finish with Barden, because I am going to answer your question, I just need to roll the right thing for it. I'm going to keep rolling until I get it. What is Zach doing? I mean, not Zach. What is Vince doing?
But also, what is Zach doing? Zach, how are you doing?
I'm great. I'm
right, cool.
excited. This is a great show, a great game with great people. I'm happy to be here. Vince is freaking the fuck out. And he's his worry right now as he sees the others in his group, thinking or building a bonfire or grabbing vines or something. He's like, okay, these two obviously have plans. And so Vince is going to try to, because we've just entered the hangar, right?
Yeah,
We were
it's
gonna
like
head
it's
back
like the
to our
double
ship.
set of doors before the hangar, correct? Yeah. So
Oh,
basically,
so
there's a big double set of doors that have a very small crack that like one person at a time could fit through, and
uh-huh.
about 10 feet in front of it is a bit of a like a barricade that they have built. And all of these fighters are on the other side of the barricade, and all of this is right in front of the double set of doors that open up into the big area that becomes the
Ah,
massive piece of the hangar.
I see. So in order to get into the hangar, we would have to pass this group of fighting monks and aliens and then get through the door.
Yes.
Okay.
Now you could try to go around them. You can try to sneak past them. Ren looks maybe like we're starting a distraction.
Oh boy. Well, as Vince is wont to do, are there any vents around? Any Vince vents?
Roll an observation.
Okay.
A vent that you will fit through. Let's see.
Yeah. Love it.
Roll a panic.
Yeah. See, I got Vince has these nerves of steel from these last couple campaigns. And so
Now you
the
keep it
talent's
together,
keeping the panic down.
but you realize that set of doors closes off for to be able to vent into space, right? Because you have to be able to open
Right.
it up at certain points, which means it is not going to have an air ventilation system.
Okay.
If it does, it'll have its own circulatory system, meaning it's not going to be you're not going to be able to go right, because why would you? Why would you have another door to close off? So it would have its own air system in a certain way, or it would use the natural atmosphere, right, when it vents open. Actually, no, that's incorrect. It has its own natural atmosphere, which means these vessels take, this is me sciencing in front of all of you. These vessels take off a natural atmosphere and break that atmosphere into space just like you would Earth, which means this hangar would have an air ventilation system.
Great. Good for me.
It is good for you. Do you try to get in? Is that the plan?
I do see a vent.
You do see a vent. Yeah, it has like a a grate on it. You'll have to pull it off or whatever.
Yeah. Vince is gonna do it.
Why don't you just roll me a flat mobility check?
Okay. Gladly.
Yeah,
One success.
one is enough. You've done this before. As you kind of remove this grate, it's behind a bunch of vines and stuff, and you kind of tug it free, and it pops open with a lot of dust and dirt from the natural growth here. You are going to be able to fit through. Now, do you want to do this stealthily? See, it's going to make some noise.
Yes.
I need another mobility check for stealth. I'm going to give it to you. I'll give it to you in retro because I forgot to ask.
Right before I get in, I'll sort of whisper yell to Ren and Barden and Ace and say that I'm going to try to open the door from the other side or something.
Okay. Yeah.
And
now they can also try to follow you. They would also be able to fit. They're just going to have to roll the mobility check.
Right. Okay. All right. Yeah. So I'll stealthily try to go through. Another one.
Not a problem. It pops off with rather quiet. It's like you maybe have done this before.
Maybe.
Ren, your pile is growing. Your vines are extending.
Okay. Yeah. For the audience, Ren has made a vine spider web leading vines from different areas of this hallway going to different parts of the wall. I guess Vince, you would have probably seen Ren do this at some point when they did kind of like a hunting kind of training, so to speak, with traps and nets and that kind of thing. Obviously, less traditional material like this, but you kind of think you might know what she's up to. And I might message you privately about that.
Are
But
you gonna
Rin
light
is
it on
trying to buy
fire?
time to get kitchens here.
Yeah, so you're gonna light it on fire?
Not yet.
Okay. Barden, to answer your final question. As the door pops off and Zach begins to crawl through, Ren is finishing up this elaborate plan for a distraction. You watch as another one of these creatures jumps and gouges out the eyes of this monk. And this time he kind of rides his body to the ground. And as he does, he opens his jaw in an unnaturally large way and vomits up all over his face black goo. So, to answer your question, the black spores are absolutely airborne and are inhaled for infection. The black goo that seeps from their bodies, their eyes, that they vomit up, is absolutely 100% also infectious and is entirely meant for ingestion.
So, just to clarify, skin contact, okay. Eyes, nose, and mouth, bad time.
Him, from what you can tell, yeah. Like it
Okay.
looks like, now granted, it was a lot of bile, of this
Yeah.
black bile that came out. So it was meant to cover everything. So there was no doubt about it and infecting them. But yes, you imagine that the spores in the air are fine on skin contact. It's about inhaling them.
Yeah.
And then there's some kind of skin to skin contact. But you notice they've wrapped their hands because their skin is coming off. So like infected pieces of the body are showing.
Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
it's not about skin to skin is what makes you sick. It looks like their body's infected, and as their flesh begins to peel off and they become more infected, they get more infectious. Bile, skin to skin contact. When they explode, they let off these spores. It seems their entire purpose, as any virus, is to spread as fast as possible, and it has adapted to do that.
I'm sorry. G in chat says head, shoulders, knees, and toes good. Eyes, ears, mouth, and nose bad.
Yeah.
Accurate. Okay. Cool. Okay.
Do you follow Vince? Seems he has found a way out of this area through the air ducts.
Barden's a little thick. Can he get in there?
You will have to roll a successful mobility check.
Oof.
You did just have your chakras aligned.
I did. You're right. You know, I did have my sacral
+1.
chakra aligned.
I believe you had a bonus
see.
for agility, actually, a 2.
I do.
Yeah.
You're right. I do. I wrote that down.
Yes. Because your chakras are aligned and your prostate is no longer giant.
That's true. Those are things that are happening.
Wonders of
okay. I panic.
Oh, Barden. Roll a panic.
I'm fine.
You cannot fit through this.
Great.
You're welcome.
He gets in like up to his gut, and it's that like he's like Winnie the Pooh in it when he's trying to get the honey. He just got like
Oh, yeah, there's no way. It's not actually about your agility at all. It's just you will not fit through this hole.
Yeah. I misjudged. I'm very pear-shaped. It's like two pears stacked on top of each
and you
other.
begin to panic because now your ass is hanging out in the worst kind of way towards the enemy. And you kind of take a moment to swallow your fear and manage to back yourself out of the hole as you see kind of Vince go up and around a corner.
He pops out and he says, "All right, there. So the kids in the tube. I tried to follow him, but the squats. I'm a little too thick for it.
Okay.
What's the plan here with the
don't worry.
fire? What are we doing with the?"
Okay. So the short version is you're gonna hide. I'm gonna
Okay.
distract, and
Okay.
when they go past you, you make a run for it, holding your breath.
Okay. Well,
Since apparently you can't fit in there. Did Ace go on with him?
I assume so.
You know
I
what?
didn't see her.
That's a great question. I imagine that is true, but I shall also roll a mobility for Ace. Ace does follow behind Vince.
Yeah, we just need to buy some time for kitchens so that he can follow where they're going as well.
I have been looking at the creatures, the previously humanoid. I believe that the airborne spores, don't get them in your mouth, eyes, nose, and throat. The goo that's coming off the people, same thing. Don't get it inside your body, but it's okay, probably unpleasant, but ultimately okay to get it on your body. So if you're gonna punch someone in the face, just don't do it with your face. Don't headbutt.
Okay, and then don't touch my face with
Don't
the
touch
hands.
your face. Imagine it's like hot sauce, right? You don't want to get it.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I got that. So,
Hot sauce
so
that
this
makes you
little, well,
explode.
my cloth mask will not do anything to help me with the whole airborne spores bit.
Ah, might make you feel better.
I was about to say, what I will tell you is it will make the threshold that you have to beat to not become infected lower. So it basically slows it down. It's like, if you were to wet it or something, it will slow it, but it's not going to stop it.
We're gonna need, oh yeah, the other thing is the goo, instantaneous, I gotta shoot you dead. Sorry, buddy. The other one, still, the jury's out on that one. The
Okay.
flakes, maybe, who knows? Either way, don't get it inside of you. And, yeah, just, we need to find hazmat suits or space suits or some kind of
As you
breathing
say
apparatus.
this, one of the creatures kind of sneaks up behind one of the monks and lunges and grabs him in like a bear hug and begins to squeeze. And as Barden says that, you hear his spine crack in half as he goes limp.
Oh man.
I'm sorry, say that one more time?
The creature snuck up behind one of the monks,
Oh, okay.
grabbed it,
I
squeezed, and cracked your back. Not you.
I thought you said you hear Barden's spine crack, and I was like, I'm sorry, my spine does
As
what?
Barden says, we've got to get out of
Okay.
here. You hear this guy go,
I was like, my spine said what?
Okay, I feel like we're running out of time. How many monks are left to defend this space right now?
about 20 or so.
Oh, okay. So
Now there's like
some
8
amount.
or 9 of these creatures.
Right,
and
right.
And one of the guys that's still on his feet is technically blind. Right? So,
Sure. What I'm saying is there's still enough cannon fodder that we have some time to wait for Kitchens to get here, right?
As long as you're willing to hide.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
if y'all are not gonna follow Vince, I need a very quick roll from you. I need a mobility check for hiding from the both of you.
Can I argue survival?
Sure.
Great, I argue it.
It has been argued and accepted.
Son of a bitch!
Go ahead and roll a panic,
dude. Push it.
You can't push a panic roll.
You can't push on a panic roll.
Oh, that's
You keep it under control, but Barden, the hiding place is a little cramped with Ren at the moment. Ren, you are fully hidden. They have not seen you. But one of them catches Barden as he goes to turn the corner to hide. And it cuts its head. As the rest of them are still fighting, one of them is now looking your direction. And it kind of sees your pile of leaves and this strange thing go. It doesn't make anything of it.
It's
Now,
a little tight there.
This creature begins to slowly.
Can I try to help hide Barden with some of the vines that I left on the wall, like to enclose him in sacrifice for my own stealth?
Yes, you can roll a survival check to keep Barden at bay. Because it is looking for Barden, not you technically, but it may find you instead.
Oh boy. Oh.
A single success is all you needed. I imagine clap Barden's mouth and there's kind of a push as you get him behind the vines and you cover him up. And as you're finishing covering him up, you see this kind of elongated hand as it around the corner and it pulls itself free. It looks somewhat human, but it's not.
Does it see me?
Oh, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna boot kick it to the face.
Okay, I will give you a close combat, and it's gonna make a mobility check. But I will give you a close combat.
So bad at close combat. I still haven't leveled up. I have maxed out experience points.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh my god!
Wow,
one, just one.
One. Okay, so you do hit it. I'm gonna roll against its armor.
Oh.
You are gonna do damage. You're gonna do a point of damage as kick it
Can it
in
stumble?
the chest.
Stumble?
Sure,
away?
I'll give it it stumbles and puts some space between you as it kind of trips backwards. And because I'm a kind GM, I'll say the stack of leaves or the stack of stuff, it trips and falls and it lands prone behind it, like on the other side of this stack.
Okay. Ooh, let me think about this. She's gonna very quickly like kind of look at Barden and be like, "What do I kill it? Other than fire?"
I mean, I guess you could sever the head. I imagine it can't still move if it doesn't have a head.
Okay. She takes her big gun and uses the butt
Okay.
of the gun, and she's just gonna go as it's on the floor, just right into the skull. She's hoping that the decaying flesh and everything will make it easier to do this.
Okay, so it's gonna take its turn to try to get up.
Okay.
With no success, you can now take
Damn
your
leaves.
yeah, it is still a close combat attack
Of
because
course.
you're not firing.
I fucking hate close combat. I've only got 4. Oh, okay. Wish me luck.
Okay,
Son
you
of a
can
bitch.
push if you'd like.
I'll push. I'll push with the stress. Adding
The
the
first
stress.
butt comes down and you miss as it kind of rolls to try to get up and can't quite do so. Roll again with after taking a stress.
Oh,
It is a success.
1.
You do another point
Oh
of
my
damage on this
gosh.
creature as you begin bashing in its head.
Oh,
Actually, I need to
so
roll to make
stressed
sure
out.
you don't get through its natural armor. You don't. I'm rolling like garbage. Tonight might be in y'all's favor. And as that butt is like coming down, smash, smash, we hear it as you're trying to kind of kill this creature. The camera hard cuts on the sound of the butt of your gun against this wooden floor and this creature's skull. To the sound of banging on the side of a door as Kitchens is strolling through the hallways and trying to get down to where you are. Kitchens, are you moving with any sense of pace?
I suppose a normal movement pace. I don't think he's sprinting by any means.
As you walk by these doors, you can tell they've been barricaded, locked. Some of them have been spray painted, contaminated, plague, death, these kinds of things. In 4 days, this station is no longer the same station.
As anticipated.
And as you take the stairs down, it's relatively quiet and rather dark. And as you get near the 4th floor, which is where the kind of dock is, you remember coming in, you come out of the hallway and you can hear ruckus, screaming, fighting, and the sound of this kind of flam, flam, flam.
I keep moving. There is no immediate rush in my pace.
Ren, I need another series of close combat checks. I need another one if you want to keep doing damage.
Yep. Definitely.
It's going to try to get
Just-
up. Okay, it might. Let's see how you
Oh.
do.
Fudge
Roll your
monkeys.
close
Okay.
combat.
Yep.
Okay. It is
Two
going
and
to, it is 2 and 2. I will say you get another point of damage off, but it is going to roll free of the next attack from and manage to kind of
Okay.
get up, but it backs up kind of back into the chaos, putting distance between you, your burn pile, the corner, and where you and Barden are at. Or where
Okay.
Barden is and you were, basically. Kitchens. As you're coming down the hallway at this pace, kind of at the far end of this long 20-foot hallway, wooden hallway, you can see the pear-like shape of Barden behind hanging vines. And there seems to be a lot of activity happening just around the corner out of your eyesight.
Am I hearing much?
Oh yeah, you're hearing like orders being screamed, monks yelling, the sound of the sound of a nap, which is the sound of skin on skin. Right? Like this kind of combat type thing. Men are screaming. I say men, people are screaming. And like I said, you're hearing that sound of Ren's butt just around the corner where it was hitting the wooden floor.
Okay, well, then I'm going to move to where I believe I have allies, especially if I see the wonderful shape of Axe Barden.
Yeah, I
Then
imagine you
I'll
see
go
his
into
feet
defense.
kind of poking out. Yeah. And
I'll
as you
move
get
up.
close, just around the corner, you can just see Ren finish slamming this creature in the head as it kind of gets up and scutters backwards. And you can see it's heavily injured, it's bleeding, it's kind of got a notch in the side of its skull as this black ichor kind of oozes from it. And it's kind of it's panting like an injured animal.
Does it? If it could I make the deduction that it's trying to flee, or does it appear that it's attempting
Yes,
to
it
continue
does
into
seem like
attack?
Ren did damage and it is backing up for yes, it is fleeing from Ren. Or at least regathering itself.
Okay.
Rin's butt was too much. Sorry. I
Yeah,
have to
it was
jump on
too
the
much
bandwagon in
slamming.
chat.
Yeah. Does Rin see me there by chance?
Rin, you can roll a quick observation.
Okay.
It's gonna be kind of difficult just because you've been focusing on this creature.
Three
Yeah, out of the
successes.
corner of your eye,
yeah,
you
difficult.
see Kitchens, kind of out of the peripheral of your eye, around the corner near Barden, Kitchens has kind of appeared out of the
Oh,
hallway.
perfect. She immediately, like, doesn't even hesitate. Immediately, oh, thank God you're here. Are you okay?
Immediately takes off the wrap for the flamethrower, and he'll pass it over to her.
Okay, this is great. I have a plan. You need to help Barden because his ass is too big for the vent that Vince and Ace went through. So y'all need to wait for me to get these guys to come and follow me, and then y'all make a run for it. I mean, or you could try the vent as well, but with the arm, I figured it probably easier to walk. Are you okay? I'm sorry. It's a bad situation.
I'm fine. I'm as fine as I'm going to be.
Okay, well, uh, so that's my plan. That I'm gonna let all this on fire, and I will meet you guys at the hangar bay.
There's probably
Okay.
a moment where you ask that, and like you see one of his eyelids is a noticeable twitch, something that's just not been there previously. So he appears safe on the surface, everything looks good, but like one eyelid is noticeably shuddering, like fluttering.
Okay. Oh well, we need to get out of here. In particular, the both of you need to get out of here. So go ahead and hide in that corner there. It seemed to work pretty well for Barton. And can I have the radio? The radio would be great if I could have that off of you.
Yeah, he'll slide off the bag as well.
As the three of you stand around the corner, Kitchens, if you do take a peek, you see a little like mass combat. This barricade, the crack in the door that heads out to the hangar, and the open vent that Vince has crawled through. Now, Vince, you come out the other side. Very easily, you're able to kind of kick it open. What you see is a different kind of chaos on the kind of decks. There are limited ships. Few of them are already gone. And people are fighting one another to get on board them.
Is this where we docked our ship? Or no, a shuttle came to pick us up.
These are the shuttles. There are about three large shuttles.
Okay. Before I hop down into the hangar, can I look around to see? I don't know at what point the fungus delivery would have made it, if at all, but Vince is trying to find it. And so he's wondering maybe they pushed it here to the hangar.
I would say, I'm not even going to make you roll for this. Just off to the right is kind of the dockman office, right? It's like an open wooden desk, kind of circular. That's where you checked in, right? When you all came in and those kind of things. It is over there. And that is where you probably would have picked the package up. It is untouched. And nobody seems to be over there because everybody's fighting for vessels.
Okay. How many shuttles are left?
There are 3 large shuttles left, and then it looks like there are probably skipper shuttles that hold a few people. This is what they would have come over to the prison vessels on.
Okay.
Those hold maybe 8 to 10 standing, and then these other ones will hold 30, 40, 50. They're big transports.
Okay. Is there, just from a quick glance, are there more people in this hangar than vehicles would fit? Or are they? Okay.
Without a doubt, which is why they're fighting.
Like
actually, you can
hundreds
roll
of people?
roll a quick observation too while you're
Okay.
Yeah, hundreds of people.
Great.
You can see a lot of them are injured or they're trying to and a lot of at a 1. There is the largest conglomeration of people fighting near the central vessel. And on it, kind of on the gangway that comes down, you can see at the top is oh goodness, brother Anthony, the synthetic.
Right.
And his his right hand brother.
Right.
They are very clearly loading the synthetics on board one vessel.
Mm-hmm.
and there are people fighting over this. You can see because there's like another version of one, right? And there's one that looks like
Wow.
the Eva model, and you can tell
Right.
that they're trying to load up all of these synthetics up on a single vessel.
So the hangar is mostly chaos, and the only organized boarding process right now is for synthetics.
At the moment, the other two
Okay.
vessels are basically first come first serve. So men are fighting one another, beating on each other, trying to get their the women and children on board. Other people don't care. They're trying to break the line. It's mass chaos.
Yeah.
I have a question. I'm not there, but I would like a phrasing clarification. Are they loading, as in like against their will, or like
No.
setting up an organized queue and just escorting them onto the ship?
Pretty much, they're selecting them and letting them on and
Okay,
holding
cool,
others back.
Cool, because
They're not like physically loading them
yeah,
on,
yeah,
like
because
like
the
cargo.
synths
No.
here are sus as fuck, and loading is a very it's a very
Yep,
aggressive
no,
term.
that does not seem
Okay,
like maybe
cool.
that's
Cool.
Okay.
um
Okay. All right. Vince, if he thinks it's possible, is going to try to quietly hop down from the vent and kind of hug the wall and sneak over to the office where the fungus is, and then go from there. Plan from there, I guess.
you kind of walk over, the lid opens kind of like a hospital check-in, like a circular hospital check-in, and it kind of creaks open. You go in and you can see a lower shelf that is like below the top desk area. And there are a couple packages back there.
Do I see our fungus one?
Sure. I think you probably see one that says kitchens.
Okay. I will I don't have much in the way of a backpack or something.
No,
but...
it's kind of like a you can tell there's like a hard case container, like the old bank teller tubes.
Okay.
And it's inside of like a sack, like a burlap bag.
All right. I'll grab that, and then I'll look to see if there's any other interesting packages, particularly weapons or something.
Roll an observation check.
Gladly. Also, is Ace still with me? Is she good?
Yes.
I would've-
Ace is kind of
yeah.
like, she's probably on lookout to make sure you're not spotted while you do this.
Great. All right. Oh. All right.
Yeah,
it
go ahead and
didn't-
roll another panic.
Okay, it didn't pop up. I'll try it again. There we go.
Okay, no, you keep it under control. You don't find anything of note.
Okay.
Which is almost probably like no weapons, nothing like that.
All right. Oh, yeah, okay. I have the fungus. Do I see... Oh, man. Just, not that I'm going to activate it yet, but do I see a door control? Like if I wanted to open that door that's cracked all the way?
Oh, yes. There's a pad right there that you could hack if you wanted to. You could tell they've probably closed it to a certain amount so that it can't be reopened, but yes, you absolutely could.
Okay. Vince is going to stand there debating what to do, and he'll turn to Ace and say, okay, I'm going to check on them, and if I give you the signal, you're going to open the door. But I just need to see where it's at right now. I'll just be right by the door.
She kind of nods, and she'll even take the fungus if you want.
Sure.
To free your hands,
yeah. I'll give it to her.
She kind of crouches behind the desk. Nobody's seen y'all yet, so.
Mm-hmm. And I will go to the door, and I'll now kind of stand with my back against it and turn my head and look through the little seam to see how the fight and the rest
As you
of
look through the
crew is going.
seam, you're watching Rin bash one of these creatures' heads in.
All right.
3 corruption bars. Tasty.
Oh God. Okay. Vince is still just gonna wait and watch and see how the situation in the hangar develops.
All right.
But
well, then the
gonna wait.
camera kind of pans through the crack and flips around back to our other 3 members of the party. Rin, what are y'all doing? Let me just say, what are y'all doing?
Well, Rin's trying to instruct Barden and Kitchens to wait and hide in that corner while she gets the monsters to go into the hall where all the vines have been laid out.
So that's actually nearest to you. Like it's kind of between you and them. So you want to draw them towards you. Is that the goal?
Yeah.
Okay. What would you like to do to draw attention to get them to like notice you?
Oh, well, before that, and Kitchens can, I'm sure, roll an observation or if he wants to, but Ren is putting the last bit of the goop that she scooped up initially that's been in the canteen, and she's like putting it in his pocket or whatever he's got there
Yeah, the
on the
sample.
side there. Yeah.
Okay. What else?
She doesn't say anything though. And
Okay.
I guess now distraction is once Barden and Kitchens are hidden in the corner,
Okay.
if they're hiding, I don't know, I guess, are you guys hiding after Rin instructed you?
I'm sorry. Can we talk about that aggressive observation roll?
Yeah.
Kitchen.
Wow.
I saw it.
Kitchen
Oh,
sees
wow.
through time and space.
What would you like to
Holy
see?
shit.
I well, I mean, I'm seeing everything that's currently going on at the moment. What seems to be holding Barden more than anything? Is it actually his girth, or is it something like a belt?
Oh no, it's
Is there a particular...
your boy's too thick. I do too many squats.
He's too thick.
He's too thick.
He is just too large for the hole.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Okay. Well, I'll see this.
You get 4 additional
Fat guy,
questions
little air
answered,
duct.
and I need you to roll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, that twitch kicks back in. Kitchens, you could fit through that. That twitch kicks back in.
I can fit through the duct.
You could fit through the duct. You could just leave Barden.
I could leave Barden. Barden's one of the few friends that Kitchen actually has.
It simply crosses through your programming.
It's like a path.
Kitchen
It's
notices
forking in the road of
canteen.
decision making.
Yeah, there's a quick fork in the road. Maybe the first time in a very long time Kitchens has thought this way. But as your eye twitches, your programming reminds you he's just human. Disposable.
Is that creature still on the ground?
It is back up, but it's kind of like hunched over. It's worked its way back towards the group, the pack mentality.
Sure. Has it left any of its like skin and like bile?
Yeah, there's kind of a huge black goo spot of half of its cranium that was smashed into the floor.
Got it. In an effort to provide some comfort, or I guess in this place a break or reprieve for Barden, Kitchens is going to grab that mess, and he closes his eyes, but he rubs it down his face, and he drops down and looks to Ren. Go. They won't target me now.
What does that have to do with anything? That
If I'm here,
Barden
they
needs
won't
to
chase
make
Barden.
his way once I get their attention.
Barden sticks out like a sore thumb,
I hit him successful just fine. right
and I
before
still
he
saw
got-
him.
I am right here. I'm just a pile of vines. I can
Will
hear
you
those
hide or not?
very well.
We don't have a lot of time left here, I don't think.
What I'm suggesting
Another-
is that if they see past that and I'm here, then they may think that one of theirs is also here. They may not lend aid.
Another
But
back.
I need them to come this way.
Let them pass by. Go on, Ren. You've got this.
Okay. I have no idea what's going on other than what I need to do. So Ren is
Step
taking.
forward.
Huh?
Does Kitchen step forward as a distraction?
Kitchens is going to move to the only way out of that.
Okay.
You said that there's that little like break where Barden squeezed himself into. He's going to push himself back to where his backside is up to Barden, and he's going to sort of like crouch down in that same gorilla like stance, but keep his
Okay.
face up. So if they were to like move around the corner and see,
What about you, Rin?
Oh, she's not hiding. She's going to fire off a bunch of shots at the crowd of monsters.
Oh, you're going to shoot the monsters. You're not lighting anything on fire.
Not yet.
Okay, it will draw attention.
Yep.
Is that the goal? Okay, just
Yep.
roll me a ranged combat attack.
Let's see. Hey, stupid scrolly bar, come here. I can't click on you if you're in the way. All right. Okay, 3 successes.
Hey. Does full damage. So it does 2 damage to start, and you got some bonuses to this. So I need to know what you want to do with your additional ranged combat. You can do additional damage. You can swap an initiative card. You can't make a panic roll. I'm sorry. If it's holding
Right.
something, we can drop it. You can push them back. What would you like to do?
I would like to with that definitely so there's 8, right? There's 8 left of them.
Yeah, that's about right.
Okay. I would say probably finish off the one whose head I bashed in if I can.
Yep. So you can get it down to 4, which means it's basically not on its feet anymore. It's just kind of like, and it's like bleeding out. And it kind of, as you kind of fire into it, it like slumps to the ground at the feet of all of this activity. And all the other ones see this one injured and turn and look at it, and then see you standing there with the gun in hand at the hallway kind of area.
I think Ren is going to be a little grandiose. She's going to just yell, "Come on and get it, motherfuckers!" And then just turn around and see if they're following her. Like,
Vince, through the crack, you watch as Kitchen stands up and wipes his black goo all over his face, returning around the corner. He and Rin have some kind of conversation that you're unable to hear, and then Rin opens up fire as all of them turn to look at her, and she says, "Come and get it." And they begin rushing her. A few of the monks will take some hits. They kind of stop a couple of them, but there's 3 or 4 still lunging at Rin.
Okay. Vince is going to still wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rin, what do you do? I'm gonna give you
she's
first turn.
if they're coming at her, she's like, wait for them to all pass and then go. And she says it to Barton and Kitchens. And she's gonna make her way to the top, following the vines that she's laid out, like forward. Basically, she's using it almost like, a line to a bit of dynamite, almost like where it will continue down the trail.
You're gonna want to light that now.
Okay. Lights it.
With I'm guessing the incinerator kind of light it up. As you light it up, it builds a little bit of this like natural firewall between you and them as they kind of rush into it. Here is what I'm going to do. I'm gonna roll a single mobility check. One of the 5 of them managed to kind of stop. It catches their feet on fire. The other ones are caught right in the like path of it. And they kind of scream and yell as it lights up. You're gonna kind of have to go up and around the firewall. What do Kitchens and Barden do? You see the first lick of fire, and it kind of slow motions as it.
Does it seem like Barton's getting out?
Not through that vent, but he will through the door. Now that you have a distraction, yeah. And there's kind of a barricade now. They could jump it. They could still come after you, but you have fire distraction at the moment, and about 4 of them are caught in.
Once they pass by, I say, I think it's time we leave.
Oh yeah, that's a great call. I'm all for that. Great.
The 2 of you are going. I'm going to have a mobility check from each of you.
I have a question for you. While all this was happening, so there's like a crevice that Barton's backed into, right? He backed that thing up into the crevice. It's covered in vines, and eventually a Kitchens is there. Does Barton have enough time and or mobility in that moment to do drugs?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I do drugs. So while the conversation and the goo smearing is happening, Barton is preparing, and like as soon as Rin runs by and lights fire, he just stabs himself in the eye, in his tear duct, with Kitchen's drugs, and cool. That'll be great.
That's for movement, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it adds a plus to something. Hold on, let me find accelerator.
I believe it's plus 2.
It gives me a +2 to agility.
Which means you also have a +2 from your chakra alignment at the moment. So you
I have
plus,
I have a +2 to mobility from the chakra and a +2 to
and that's what
agility
you're
from the
roll.
drugs.
Oh, so you're still adding 4 total.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it gives me -2 stress, and then I get a stress when it wears off. Cool. So mobility to get the fuck out of there. Fucking needed it.
Okay, it's a success. You successfully are moving. Kitchens is successfully kind of blocking you. Ren, what do you do? Vince, you also see them coming for the door.
She is just trying to get these monsters to keep following her, and as she does, she like slightly lights each little section up.
And
With
there,
the
I mean, it
vine.
is going up. And actually, I'm going to use a corruption bar and say it's going up a lot faster than you think.
That's
Currently,
totally
you're
fine
on
with
the
me.
wrong side of the fire.
Or am I?
Or are you?
Or all right, yeah. So she's just gonna keep running. She is literally trying to get them all to come and follow her. To get
You
away
have
from the
5
hangar.
of the 7 that are left. 2 of them kind of got stopped by monks, and now the monks are able to, because there's less of them, are able to kind of conjoin forces, and they're kind of beating on them and breaking them down. So the 4 that you lit on fire are kind of backed up away from the firewall, and they're like dying. There's one that is trying to figure out how to get through the fire, and it can see you right through it, but it can't. It doesn't know how to get to you without going through the fire.
Okay, interesting. So which ones are actually following through? Or is there any that are like in pursuit?
The ones
of...
that followed through, you lit on fire. They won't come
Okay.
through because they're gonna be a survival instinct.
Okay, got it. So they're burning up basically.
Yep.
Okay.
4 of them are on fire, burning alive.
Okay. So out of curiosity, where does this hallway lead? Is it always going to go
Leads
back to where
back the way you came,
Uh-huh.
or in front of you, kind of either around or through the firewall is the more open area that leads to the doors to your right.
What's to the right?
The doors that go out to the hangar.
Oh, I thought those were blocked.
They are. There's like barricades about
Oh,
10
okay,
feet in
okay.
front of them, and then it's got like a gap, right? So people could get through, but a lot of people can't get through.
Got it. Okay.
So Vince is kind of crouched on the other side of that door, getting ready to open it for all of them.
Okay, but I'm still behind the firewall, so to speak.
You're going to have to make a mobility check to jump through it if you want to go through the doors. Or you can try to go through the air duct, which is on your side of the firewall.
Okay, and what if I want to light the whole station on fire?
Don't fret. I've already spent a corruption bar to assure that's going to happen.
Oh, great. That's awesome.
It is
Love
going
that.
up very, very quickly. The walls are now on fire. The ceiling is on fire in like 10 seconds. It was basically like a dusty cardboard box you just lit on fire.
Hey, Doug,
Okay.
question.
Yeah.
The path of which she will be coming back through to make it to the vessels, is that hallway, does it have one of those same doors that I could swipe the key card?
Yes.
Okay.
You have a top tier key card.
Then I'm going to wait for Ren.
Knowing that one of the creatures is the 2 barricade pieces have a very small gap, right? So you can get through, just like 2 barricade walls, like police barricades. One of the creatures is like crawling, the one that had 1 HP left that's almost dead, and it's crawling towards Barden and you. And it's looking like it's going to come through. It's moving very, very slowly, but it has noted you. And it's kind of about this slow as it's kind of oozing and creaking and just literally decomposing in front of you. The DNA is decomposing.
What's nearest us?
The 2 barricades, and the door. If you're coming around. So actually, you know what? At the bottom of this, I will quickly freehand this for all of you because I can do that.
Oh, there's the door then. So the slider, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Then I will, as it's passing through the door, crawling its way through the door, I'm going to force the door into power close.
Okay, cool. So this is kind of what you're looking at. I'm going to try to draw some vines here. These are the vines that obviously line this whole wall. Here are the 2 barricades. Oops, yeah, that's about right. Like kind of like this. This is the main door here. This is the air vent here. The fire is like is kind of all up in and around this area. This is kind of the area that Ren built it, so this is where it's the hottest. They kind of ran into it right here. Ren is on this side. You and Barden are over here. This is my really poorly done drawing.
Okay. I want
Highly
to.
approve.
This
I
is
definitely
what people
wanna
are actually
use the
coming to
door.
see is this map
Yeah.
skill.
I'm going to use the door to finish the creature off.
Oh, okay, great. So you boot the door closed or open
Closed to kill the creature.
to kill the creature. Yeah, you wait for the perfect timing, and as it crawls through, it gets its head just through. Vince is on the other side of the door now. So Vince, you watch as Kitchens and Barden like squeeze through, and crawling behind it is this creature desperately grabbing at Barden's ankles. It looks up and sees this kind of black goo on you, and it hesitates for just a second, which gives you just enough time to close the door.
After I'm sure it's
Ren,
not moving,
yeah.
I want to reopen it and wait on Ren.
Yep, its head, and now black goo like ichors out everywhere. It kind of splats like a shaving cream in a balloon.
Oh,
And,
maple syrup on your floor.
Yeah, shaving cream in a
Maple
balloon. That's the
syrup.
best way. That's my PG version of explaining its head exploding. Ren, I need you to make a mobility check.
Got it. Doing that.
Look, you knew exactly what I was saying when I said it. You knew what I meant.
Mobility.
Oh,
Love that.
Ren.
my god.
Explain to us how you manage around the fire, which is now spread. Okay. I'll do it in a different color, so there's kind of like you can see
How
this is the
many
lighter area of
backflips do you
fires.
do is the question.
Yeah.
I
How
think
do
she
you
gets
get
like a
around them?
wall run
Raider
at
your
this
way
through
point
this.
using one of the vines because why
Oh,
not?
that's dope. We get kind of a
Oh,
Tarzan
yeah.
moment as you kind
A
of make a
burning
wall run
vine.
and you grab it. And I imagine maybe we get a cool kick as you smack one of these creatures, burning creatures in the face, and its body poofs to ash in front of you.
Love
And
it.
you land just here, on the other side of this door and this creature, what's left of it, is at your feet, not moving. As the door slides open, and it kind of, as you see your friends on the other side.
I'm sorry, can we all just take a moment here to appreciate the fact that Rin is canonically a similar age to Barden, if not roughly the same age? And she just
a
fucking
badass.
Crying so many
sideways
times.
wall runs.
Vine.
Smoke
Big
is now
crying.
billowing in to this area because it's billowing out right to atmosphere. So it's all the smoke is following
Mhm.
Rin in the doors.
As Rin passes through, I will shut the door again, leaving that as we move further.
The monks out there are like, "What's going on? I don't know, man." These creatures are burning, and the door closes on them as they turn to see all of you. You are all greeted with the sound of a different kind of noise. As the docks are currently in a bit of a riotous state. People are attacking one another, and they are fighting over vessels.
I'm sorry, I know things are pretty dire right now and the whole ship's on fire, but we're gonna talk about how Rin just climbed the wall.
I wasn't climbing. It was a maneuver.
Pretty good.
It was a mobile maneuver.
You
Okay,
ran across
why
a
don't we
wall
all
like a
not
ninja.
be in front of the door? Let's get in the office here. Also, we found the fungus kitchens.
Ace hands you over a bag, like a burlap sack about this large, and it's got some kind of hard canister in it.
Please hold that for me. I have been temporarily contaminated.
She looks you up and down and nods like, okay. She also maybe offers you like a hanky or something.
No, this is fine. It hesitated before it attempted anything upon my person.
She kind of, eyebrows furl, but she believes you. She's alive at this point because she's trusted all of you. So, no time to argue now. So, all of you kind of crouch behind this circular desk that is clearly like check-ins or customs or something. You've been here before, and you see the same thing. There's like a lower shelf that's got a bunch of packages and stuff on it, and the chaos out 20, 30, 40 feet in front of you is unpleasant, to say the least.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say this because it's the elephant in the room here. Last time I suggested nuking an entire space station full of people, some of you guys got real upset about it. But things are pretty dire here, and I'm looking out, and I only see a handful of shuttles, and clearly more freighters out there than there are numbers of shuttles. And we have a bunch of guns. Now, I'm not saying we should shoot these people because they're fairly innocent.
We should shoot anybody who may be infected.
All right, well, that I just going a little bit. I just want to shoot it in the air and startle people so we can get to one of the ships. But we should probably use some level of
We're
force to get the fuck out of here.
right. We also have a very limited time because I did just set the station on fire, I
Yeah, I
think.
saw that. Yeah.
It went a little faster than I expected, so we probably have about half as much time as I would have expected
I
us to
did try
have.
to tell you about the whole oxygen thing, but you
No,
were in
I
it. It's
understand
okay.
that. The whole point was to get rid of all of this anyway.
Yeah. Your plan worked. It just worked
Here's
really
It
well.
worked
the
too
other thing
well, is
too.
what it did.
You guys see over there the only shuttle that is actually seeing some movement. All of the synthetics are getting on by themselves and keeping anyone else from getting on their shuttle. And of all the people that could get infected by this, they're the ones that are immune and probably also a bit stronger than the average person. I don't know what we can do
Okay.
about that, but
Well, maybe Kitchens can go discuss it with them, perhaps. I don't know. It depends on how you're feeling about that, Kitchens, considering everything that's happened so far.
I was just a prisoner for 4 days. They did not bring any warrant or concern to my cause.
That is true.
I don't matter to them.
Well, you matter to us.
I appreciate
So-
that.
And I'm very
Right.
glad that you made your way down here, because I was truly thinking, I don't know how to get back to you with the suit, because the suit was on the wrong side of the wall. So it worked out, I suppose.
Smoke is
Well,
pouring through the air vent hole that Vince has left open. You can hear the sounds of monks dying via fire.
Perhaps we should just simply find a empty shuttle.
Yeah, I'm down for any kind of shuttle. Pretty sure collectively someone here could fly it.
Yes, myself and Kitchens.
Yeah.
And
I'm pretty
Vince,
sure Ace
technically.
can fly.
Yeah, I feel like we have a lot of pilots in the group now suddenly.
How
Yeah.
about an observation check from everyone?
from who?
All of you that want to make it.
One. Little smoke in my eye.
I'm gonna
Kitchens, I'm gonna
re-roll.
let you roll that panic.
There we go.
Holy mother of Barden.
That twitch comes in again. It would be
The
so easy to get
drugs.
off. It would be so easy to get off of here with the rest of those synths. You just left them behind. Kitchens
Wait,
goes
what?
unreasonably silent as Barden. You got the highest of the observation, so I'm going to give it to you. You pan across the deck in the chaos, trying to find the right ship. There's a couple like small jumpers. You can see that people are massively fighting over those. The large shuttle ships, they're trying to get women and children on first, and they're fighting off anybody that tries to break that order. The elderly are they're trying to get them on, but it is not easy. But off to the right, it's got a piece of a sheet over it, so most everybody would have ignored it. It seems to be one of these puddle jumper vessels, these small ones, but it is under maintenance right now. You don't know how much maintenance, but there's not a single person open. You have roughly 6 minutes before the atmosphere and trees of this facility burn up and it vents everything into space.
Cool.
I tell you that from an above table perspective.
Okay, guys, the space station's pretty on fire. It's pretty fucked. And also, not to mention the goo people and all the shit that's going on here. I think that ship might be broken. However, I have faith in your abilities collectively to pilot it, and Vince, your ability to fix it while in flight. We only need to go from here to there. Hell, I don't care if we crash it into the side of the fucking the Geppetto.
We can't do that. There are people on board that we actually like.
Now, do we still have? Do we have access to a receiver to the Monstro?
Yeah, I'd say so.
There's
Like
a radio
short-range
that
receiver.
Bryn
Yeah,
still
and
has.
you have a radio you might be able to tune in. Yeah.
Because originally we had this trash vessel pick us up from a planet, If we were to move the puddle jumper out into space, could we basically beacon and set the monstro to pick us up?
To come closer, yeah. You still have to make the jump one way or the other. Now, I will say you have a few options. You all could spacesuit up and have the monstro pick you up closer. You could try to find spacesuits. 2, you can try to risk this rickety vessel and see if it will get you there. Either way, there's going to be a slight, like, it's not gonna be able to dock with this station. So there's a little bit of a space jump one way or the other, whether it's a short range vessel, whether you spacesuit across, which is also very dangerous for a variety of reasons. I leave it up to you.
I mean, are
Yeah.
there spacesuits around, like in that shuttle
Yeah.
or anything? Because that's
Vince
the
wants
that's
to
the other thing.
look for
You're
some
not
too.
close enough to know because they would be inside.
Okay. Well, Bryn's gonna go towards that shuttle then because we need
Are
to get
all
out
you
of here.
moving with any kind of stealth? Or are you
Are the
just gonna run
people
for it?
are the people in the dock? Are they? How close are they to this puddle jumper?
20, 30, 40 feet away and heavily distracted by fighting one another. Their backs are to you, basically. It's kind of like a long strip, and they're at the far end where all the good vessels are. This is kind of off in a maintenance area to the right.
Ace is pretty good with stuff like this, right? Ace, do you think you could get under the sheet and determine what might be wrong with the jumper?
Oh,
In less than 2 minutes.
she nods. Yeah, she can do it.
Our highest probability of success will likely yield us moving to the jumper unseen. If we remove the sheet, we will likely be mobbed. Despite our weapons, people will act riotously so. However, if we move with violence in the direction of the larger vessel where the synths are, we will seek some sort of physical retort from the synthetics. But the people may try to maneuver away from us.
So
Hmm.
she, as you're saying all this, she's kind of nodding in a state of like trying to take it all in, and you can see her eyes are getting big, and if you could see her heartbeat, it's beginning to race, but she keeps her panic under control. She kind of scutters along the wall. You don't know if she's been seen yet or not. And she slips under the sheet. Technically, this is a heavy machinery roll, which is not her strong suit, but we're gonna see what she can do.
Ooh,
Look at her go.
my girl.
In all of your favor, this is the exact same model vessel she grew up on.
Mm.
Small puddle jumper with her father. She knows this model inside and out. And she knows immediately what is wrong, which is that it is missing the power source to start it up. She comes back and relays all this message to you. She says it's just missing a power startup, at least for a small a journey we can make. It's kind of rusty, and we might want to hold our breath, but we need something to start it up.
Okay, what can we use to do that?
Would I know what sort of power it might need?
She goes, well, one of the power sources from there.
From the other shuttles? Well, then why don't we just pirate one of the shuttles and leave this one behind?
A lot of people
Vince,
between here and there.
Vince immediately sneaks off towards the
Roll me a
synthetic
mobility
ship.
check.
Okay.
I mean, I could fire into the crowd, get them away from the shuttles, perhaps.
Yeah, you're not seen. Vince, you look around and Vince is already gone. And you can see him kind of scuttering across the empty gap space as he creeps behind the crowd of people and around the edge towards the far side of that vessel. What would you like to do now that you're here? You're not seen,
Mm-hmm.
but I will say now you can hear him over the shouting and the fighting. Brother Anthony. He says,
"Do not be afraid, my brothers and sisters. We are taking all of our synthetic persons to start anew. The prison ships are untouched by this disease. Consider yourselves part of the exodus, a beginning, a new one. We will come back for what is left of you. Once we know it is safe. Do not fret, my brothers and sisters. Have faith.
Do I
need a heavy machinery check if you want to remove the power source.
So right now I am poised to remove the power source from the synthetic ship, right?
If that is where you want to be. You could remove it from I will give you you can remove it from any of the ships.
Right. Do I believe him?
Oh. You can roll a manipulation check to see if you believe him.
Okay. 1.
He believes what he says. They will not come back for these people. They may come back for the vessel, the space station, to start over.
Oh, and it's going to burn up anyway.
Right? Which is, think about it. All the wood goes away, they just start over. It's all cleaned out. The virus is gone. They awaken the people in these other prison ships, and they start over as if nothing happened.
Yeah, I wish there was a better way, but we don't have time. So Vince, he's gonna steal the power source from the synthetic ship.
I need a heavy machinery roll.
Okay. I did get a maintenance jack last episode.
Did.
Is that going to help me?
Usually that's for doors and things, but I will say, yeah, maybe for like removing the side panel quietly or something like that. I will give you an additional 1 to helping you with removing this.
Okay.
What are the rest of you doing while Vince has disappeared and is very clearly doing something you're all unaware of?
Rin's just looking for spacesuits at the shuttle and like any supplies that might be there.
Yeah, you scuttle over. There are 3 spacesuits, a couple canisters of what would be kind of backup oxygen in it. It's basically the standard, right? This is just a little puddle jumper. So there are 3 spacesuits in it. Most of the tools and things, the inside is really rusty. It's kind of like an old school bus sitting on a school bus lot. It doesn't mean it doesn't run. It's just not been run in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kitchens is probably on the teetering line of like cracking and doing something that's way out of character. So he's almost refraining from movement.
Kitchens is frozen, almost like frozen solid. It's rather, I imagine, off-putting for those of you that are still around him. I'm going to say that was a heavy machinery. You're going to get a +1 in some way. This can be to a later related roll. You can roll, not have to roll again for this exact situation. Half the time as usual. You can break something permanently. What would you like to do with the extra success?
Oh, you're talking to me.
Yes.
Oh man. Okay, you said that there was a shuttle that had women and children on it.
The 2 large transport shuttles, they are trying to get the elderly women and children on first, but it's a slow process because people are fighting.
Oh man. Okay. I guess I know an option when there's an extra success is to get an extra die or a modifier on a future roll of that type.
Yep, you can get a +1 on a related roll, which would be a heavy machine. You can bank a +1 for a heavy machine. A success, basically.
I'll do that in case some machine shit happens soon.
I mean, you got to install this battery, right? So
right. I'll just do
one
that.
One more mobility check to sneak back.
Yeah, and as Vince does that, he wants to see. This might not be the time for it, but he wants to see if if the synthetics are worried about keeping people away and they're facing a certain direction. There's the whole women and children thing.
Yes,
Vince is looking for that lucky person or small group of people, preferably kids, that look like they're not going to make it onto a ship, that are maybe at the outskirts of the crowd trying to make their way in, that in a perfect world he could kind of like grab them from the edge of the crowd without being seen and have them come with him.
I will take a flat empathy check or an observation, whichever you prefer.
Okay, I'll do observation. 3.
There is a group of children, probably between the ages of 6 to 12, that are standing with a sister that's in her robes, and she's trying to keep them calm and trying to get them on one of these ships. They don't clearly have parents, which means, Zach, as somebody that doesn't have parents, you know what an orphan looks like immediately.
So Vince is going to approach that sister and is going to say, look, we don't have time. We have the best way out of this ship right now. The only way you're going to get off is not through that line. Just come with me. And I will point at the sort of like desk area where the rest of the group is.
Roll a manipulation check to convince her that you're not trying to like kill these kids, lead them into danger.
Right. Okay.
You all see Vince as he comes around, but he stops at a group of children. She hesitates, sees the outcome of this, that their odds are very low, and she leans down to all of them and she goes, quickly, follow this man. As she brushes them forward.
Okay.
She stays.
All right.
She looks at you and with knowing eyes. And she begins to make a distraction. And you hear this woman scream and push 2 men in front of her, so they bump into the 2 men in front of them. And a tiff begins to break out, and one of them turns around and decks her. She gets kind of absorbed into this fight that breaks out to assure that nobody sees the children crossing.
Okay. And about
Vince has returned.
Yeah,
with
how
5
many kids?
children.
5 kids. All right.
You are muted, Mike.
I sure am. Dot, I have a question. Jesus, I hate that I'm about to ask this question. Not to devalue Kitchen's personhood here, but mechanically speaking, I'm atrocious at empathy. Can I argue to roll a comtech to see if there's something wrong with Kitchens? Like, having been around him for the last several years?
Ooh.
Is he like
here's what I will let you do. I will let you roll a manipulation check with a +1 because he is your buddy.
Okay.
Or I will let you roll a comtech at a -1.
Oh, I'll take the -1.
Okay.
I have 9 in comtech. I have 9 total. Cool. 2 successes and a panic roll. I'm fine.
Kitchens, if your best bud could read into your emotional state, even in your frozen moment, what is it like? What does he know?
Kitchens is recently, frequently, I would say probably quiet more often than not. Like he's stuck deep in thought, but even then he's usually stuck in the moment and kind of figuring it out. There's movement, it's something that feels very natural. This is sort of like having an old computer that you opened up a piece of software, a program, an application, and it started to, and then it just started flashing on the screen like rapidly. That's what his eyelid is doing. It's just like stuck in a rapid REM movement.
Like a baby eye doll almost. Like as it flutters when you yeah.
I think if you get up close enough to him, his gaze just averts from that stuck stare and looks directly at you, and that eye is just fluttering back and forth. And he says, "Pardon? Something's wrong."
Yeah, buddy. We're gonna get you inside the shuttle here, and then we're gonna hang out in the lab, and I'm gonna run a diagnostic on your brain box. Just come on here, buddy. And he's gonna try to like put him in the shuttle, like escort like a sick grandpa into the shuttle. Come on, buddy.
You all begin kind of scuttling over. Vince has these 5 kids. Ace probably immediately tries to help you wrangle them like sheep. Rin, what are you doing?
Rin is guarding the shuttle. waiting for them to be ready to go with the install and everybody's on board.
It's a slow walk for Kitchen, slower than probably is comfortable for Barden, as all of you kind of come over to the vessel. Does anybody unsheet it?
Vince is sure to give the power source to Ace, but we'll keep it covered for as long as she
Do
needs
you
to
want
do
to
the work.
install it since you get the +1, which means an automatic success?
Oh, if that's what
No,
it
I'm so
means,
sorry.
then-
It's a +1
or
die.
+1, yeah, die.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Sure, I'll give it a shot. Actually,
You'll get the +1 on that then, the heavy machinery.
Okay.
She can always get the kids in the vessel.
got it. All right, I'll give it a shot. So at this point, all of us are at this vessel now.
Yeah, you're kind of
Okay.
all kind of crouched behind it. The door is open so you can like load in, but there's no
Okay.
gangway that comes down. It's old, right? So you have to she's like loading the kids in one by one under the
All
sheet.
right. Okay. I'm gonna push. Okay. All right.
Vince, there's a second you try to fit it and it doesn't go in. It's like it's the wrong size battery. You have a double A for a triple A slot. And then you realize that it's modular.
Mhm.
And the piece kind of pops out as you are able to snap it in. Do me a favor. Roll a panic. A 5, you are successful. That panic sets in. Is like, fuck, it doesn't fit. She was wrong. And then there's a moment where you swallow that panic and are able to realize there's just a kind of coupling piece that pops out to make this module fit in. And as it kind of jams it up in there, there's some dust and rust and things that kind of fall free, and you're able to kind of slam the door of this space back closed. It should start up. Ren, you see him successfully get it in there.
She's still waiting until they are able to get it powered up.
Okay.
Guarding.
3 floors of this are completely on fire at the moment. Everybody piles in. Nobody hesitates. Great.
Is there
Ren,
space?
oh yeah. It is very tight. Very tight. The kids, I would say if you had this many adults, no. The kids are able to stand super duper close and Ace kind of huddles them in a corner. There is no sitting except for the pilot. All of you will be standing.
Then Kitchens will be as careful as possible and place his hands on the roof, and he will look up so as to not terrify anybody.
Trying to keep your face hidden from the kids. Hopefully a smart move. Ren, you are last in.
Okay.
I need 2 piloting checks from you.
Okay. She will pilot. She
You know what? You
places-
can take a +1 because Ace is there and knows this model. She can be like, flip this quick, do this.
Yeah.
And or like pre-help you set up. So one of these you can make with a +1.
Are you gonna do that, Vince, or do you want Ren to?
Who is
have no-
piloting?
I would be rolling 5 dice. I have just no piloting skill, but very good agility.
Ace is not
Okay.
the best pilot, so you're probably still the pilot for the group.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll do it then.
All right.
All right.
Ace
And
can basically
here-
tell you what to flip on.
Yeah.
A really good pilot, but I'm really not on banging on all cylinders right now.
Are you kidding me? I'll push it.
Panic,
Stress.
roll it again. Or take your stress roll again.
All right, 2.
Much better. The first time you kind of flip it all on, do exactly as she says, you hit the button and it kind of it like sputters. Right? And you
Ugh.
flip it all off, you flip it all on again, and as it begins to sputter, a few people nearby turn to look at what is going on. Another corruption ball, as through the ventilation shaft crawls one of these creatures, on fire, burning. It comes raging out, not noticing your ship at all, and tackles a person. This area is now officially infected.
Yep.
People are screaming, chaos has broken out. The gangway for the vessel that holds the artificial persons begins to close. People are jumping, they're kicking people off. And for funsies, another 2 floors are now on fire. But you managed to get it to turn on the 3rd try. It and sputters up. And you can feel the whole thing kind of rattles like an old dune buggy almost, made of nothing but metal. It kind of, you wonder if it'll even stay intact. As metal on metal kind of rattles, bolts that are a little loose kind of shudder, and everything kind of kicks on. And as it does, the airflow that's just the intake and the outtake of the vessel kind of kicks the sheet off, and it kind of flutters and goes flying. It catches fire as it passes this creature, flutters through the air. People are panicked, and they notice your ship and begin running towards it. I need another piloting check to get off the ground and the fuck out of here.
Cool. 1 success.
As you go to take off, a few people dive and grab the legs of this as it tries to like take flight. Women and children are screaming. The other vessels are trying to get off the ground. It is not a pretty sight. As this creature explodes, not by fire, but into spores. I need everybody on this vessel to take a point of stress if you care about humans at all. That's how I will designate.
Yeah, let me think.
Oh boy.
If you have, I will say this, if you have an empathy of 2 or higher,
Kidding.
and you are human,
Yeah.
you will take
Okay.
a stress. Because this is, you are watching innocent people. You're leaving them behind. Who knows? Maybe one of you doesn't even care. It takes flight. And you can see a couple people race for the main doors that kind of let you out, right? To try to close them. And Ren, you skirt through barely as you hear metal on metal, like as you kind of burst through into atmosphere. The first thing you notice is that the atmosphere around this is getting thin. And you can see it from kind of the readouts on this dusty old screen. The atmosphere as it was is failing. And in fact, 1/2 of this vessel is venting fire from another floor out, which means the atmosphere has failed on one portion of this station. It will not be long before this whole thing is basically inhabitable. The fire will eventually vent out into space, so will everything else. And as you fly away, it is silent. There's no screaming, no monsters growling, no death, no cracking skulls, no bile or vomit. Just absolute silence of all of your breath in space. Takes you about 2 minutes to get back to the monstrum. You see it still floating in space. Off in the distance, you can see all the many prison vessels that hold uninfected people. One of the large transport ships makes its way out of the dock behind you, going the opposite direction.
Do we recognize like one of the
It is the artificial persons vessel.
the one that I took the power source from?
Oh, you're right. You are so right. It can't be. Another vessel gets away. So it has to be. It's one of the bigger ones. So it would be one of the transport vessels, hopefully with women and children.
Great.
And it does kind of fly off in another direction.
All right.
What do you all do? Do you go straight back into the monstro?
Ren kind of pipes up. So we needed like decontamination before we, the whole thing, because then otherwise this is just gonna end up killing everybody.
Well, we can't really decom inside this ship either way. What we can do is make a broadcast to the Monstro, get everyone away from my lab and Kitchen's lab, and we could probably do the decom as best we can. The ship's not really outfitted for a decom. We didn't really plan to be infected with airborne pathogen, but we can do the best we can. I got a bit of a chemical bath. Anyway, I got to get back there. Kitchen's is fucked up.
When you say that and you
Kitchen's staring at the ceiling.
and you look back, Kitchens seems to be fiddling with the spot on his busted hand, the burnout spot, and there it looks like there's a rear placement on the back of his wrist, and he seems to, like, while his head is up, he's got something in his hand. You can see it. It's very small. It sort of looks like a USB drive, and he glances forward when you say his name, and there's, for the first time, probably like real panic in his face. And he just says, "I don't know." And he plugs this USB into his wrist, and his eyes roll to the back of his head, and he drops into a pile.
He goes limp on the floor.
Yeah, like I said, it's a little fucked. We gotta go.
Oh, well, okay, all right.
Hold
Okay.
on, we can't just.
Ren,
Okay.
because we
Yeah.
have corruption bars left. In fact, I have 2
Yay.
bars left. You start getting an error message about a minute out from the vessel. You are leaking air. The air canister for this is leaking. I need you to roll a pilot's check because there is basically destabilization of this vessel. It's not. It's going to get a little. It's going to be a rickety landing.
Okay. On it. Doing it. 1 success.
1 success. You come in hot. There is going to be no. There's not going to be a pretty landing. The back kind of big hole that like drops down for this trash freighter where you can drive large vessels into it kind of creaks open. Whoever's on board, probably Ben, opens it for all of you, and you kind of come flying in very fast as the oxygen levels are dropping. The kids are sobbing. Ace is trying to kind of comfort them. Kitchen's body hits the floor, and this thing comes skirting in and skidding to a halt. Feet break off of it. Metal panels are going every which direction, and it kind of slams into the back wall. I need everybody to just quick make a, you know what? This is going to be a stamina check.
Okay.
Kitchens, you don't have to make it because you're
And
technically
you said
turned off.
last game that if we put our ripped cloth wraps on, that we get a +1 to stamina. Is that still?
If you are making a virility check against the virus.
Oh, okay, never mind.
This is like, this thing just came into a
Yeah.
car accident.
Don't worry, my forearm wraps will save me from the car accident.
Oh,
Yeah.
Barden.
2 for Ren.
I will push gladly.
I
Not
also
the
pushed,
stress.
and my panic roll is fine.
Okay.
Need 1 success. Push, success. Okay. Barden. You're going to take a critical injury as this vessel comes to a resounding halt. That critical injury is
32.
no, I can't make this shit up. I just random rolled on a 66 roll table. I rolled a 32, which is a crotch hit.
Oh no.
My sacral chakra!
It is not a fatal injury.
Oh no.
Oh
But
no.
you are going to take a point of damage now. And because it is a critical injury, Barden, your bits may never work again.
I'm like 80.
Oh.
Fine.
Barden, there's a very large kind of crunch sound as Barden hits the floor, injured. He's bleeding from his groin, which means he could have hit a major artery. You're
my
not
nuts.
entirely sure. It is a piece of rebar that has jammed up through the ship like a piece of steel metal, and it is kind of protruding through his leg and into his groin.
Hand me the junk. Hand me the
Oh
junk.
my goodness. I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
I'm so sorry.
Oh,
Stop the
God.
bleeding.
Oh, God, I just
Hey,
think
kids,
everything's
don't look.
playing.
Sort of pinned to the floor. Here,
Oh
it's,
my
it's in
God.
me. It's in me. It comes in one side,
Okay.
comes out the other side.
I imagine Ace quickly gets the children off as Ben might be waiting on all of you, him and his family, to like figure out what the hell
Hang
is
in the
going on.
quarantine area.
You've
Don't
been
go all the way
missing
to the
a
ship.
week. You've been missing a week.
Yeah.
He
Ren
goes
is
to
literally yelling.
reach. He goes to reach for Kitchens.
Don't touch him.
Yeah, I think
Ren tries to intervene.
Vince and Rin yell at Ben to just get back.
He's a very smart fella. I imagine he takes your heed very
Quarantine
cautiously.
protocols. Quarantine.
Oh,
all of us.
no! Knowing that when you say quarantine protocols, it's like a whole other level. The kids are off
Mhm.
now. He sees
Yeah.
Barden bleeding.
Yes.
He'll go over to Barden and lift Barden's body up and off the rebar. Barden, the pain is excessive. I need you to take a point of stress.
And go sleepy
He
time.
will run you to medical bay. Kitchen's son probably helps. Oh, what did you say? We were muted.
I said, great, that's also my lab. We combine the two of them. Perfect. Just where I want to be.
I imagine that Ace and maybe Ben's son help wrangle the kids to a safe location. to check them and go through quarantine protocol. That leaves Vince and Ren standing over Kitchen's body.
Since we're in one of the hangar bays of the ship, there should be spacesuits nearby, yes?
Yes.
Okay. We are Ren is like, all right, we gotta put these
Y'all
on.
probably even have hazmat suits on board. It's a trash freighter.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, whatever is the most easily accessible.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what she
there are
gives
suits for y'all.
to Vince. Okay.
Y'all
Yeah.
both
So they
quickly
suit
suit
up.
up.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, we need to get him properly cleaned off before we take him through the rest of the ship. So,
And the USB is sticking out of his kind of wrist area on the bad arm.
okay.
I say we leave that in until we clean him up.
I
Yeah, it's
don't
like
even know what it is.
flashing.
Me either.
His eyes are fluttering. It's almost like it's computing.
Should we like? Do you know anything about synths in their whole?
I figure. I mean, my guess maybe he's downloading something into him or him into it.
Okay,
is my
that doesn't
guess.
sound good in either case. The kitchens,
But
can
he
you
did it
hear
himself.
us?
He did it himself.
Kitchen?
So he's.
There's no response.
I say we clean him up and then just. I don't know. Get Barden to look at it at some point.
Barden is in like. I mean, did you see the
I
thing?
know
It
at
was
some
like
point.
right there. In
he's probably gonna have to stay like this for a bit.
bits.
We need to clean him off. We can't touch any of
Okay,
this stuff.
let's. Okay, we'll decontaminate. We'll bring to lab. Get him comfortable. Maybe prop a pillow up under his head, and then figure out. Maybe we can ask Ace to take a look. Run some diagnostics, perhaps.
Barden doesn't die. You might get him to look at it too. But
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
so
While we're
you
moving
move
kitchens, Vince
yeah.
is gonna look back through the hangar port to see what remains of Arceon at the moment, or what it looks like.
You look out. Kitchens is moved. You run him through a decontamination chamber and clean his face off. And as you're waiting for decontamination, which will take a couple minutes, you look out of a window. On this ship, there are children crying, trying to be subdued in a certain way. Barden is bleeding out and is being put into a medical pod to basically have surgery done to stop the bleeding. Ben is like poking away with bloody hands, and Ace is there trying to help. And as you look through the window, it is silent on board this ship, and it is silent out in space. But you see, and it startles you, as a body and hand smash into the side of your ship and kind of drag across this porthole in the side of it. Off in the distance, you can see that what is left burning of Arceon is still burning, and what is not is venting out into space. People, vessels, things, items, stuff, broken wood, burning plants until oxygen is no more and it goes out into a crispy vine. Like an new planet with a ring around it, bodies and debris. As we close tonight, what you all do not see, it's a message that was sent 2 days ago. Across this amount of time and space, it still takes time to get to you. So you're not exactly sure when it was sent. It could have been sent a week ago. It is an SOS. A cry for help. From Station Alexandria. In fact, it is an SOS and a last call for help. Station Alexandria is no more. And about 2 weeks of travel away, our camera cuts, and we see what is left of Station Alexandria, pulled apart, blown to pieces. Archive ships burning or left to rot now in space, with no sign of necessarily who did. But our crew is once again left without a home. cast into the vastness of space with more knowledge than they should probably have, and questions as to what to do next. And the last scene is of a canister, heavy, thick plastic as it slides from inside of a burlap sack. The only possible future is a small canister of fungus and the last remaining gift from Arceon. What this crew will do next, we do not know. But we will have to find out in our epilogue series this summer. Because tonight's episode is
Just letting that one sink in. Well, folks, that'll do it. That's the season finale of Alien Genesis. This is the final episode of season 3 of our long-running Alien campaign. Some say longer than the original movies. Who knows? Either way, as Dot said, we'll be picking up the 4th and truly final season, the epilogue, this, I believe, May. But don't quote me on that. This May, season 4, we are taking suggestions for Alien : something. We're taking some suggestions from you guys over on the Patreon if you have them. Speaking of the Patreon, if you guys want the after show that we're about to shoot right after this, you can get that at the $5 tier at the link in the description down below. While you're down there, join us in the Discord, be a part of the community, be a part of the conversation. But for now, let's do our outro so we can get the hell out of here and talk about what just happened. Because there is some shit going on. I know I'm going to reveal something that Bub told me to get us all excited for next this summer, I guess. So let's start with the incapacitated Bub. Who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to?
I am found all over the place as Bub Talks. If you just Google that, you'll find your way over to my Twitch or my Instagram or my Twitter, and it's about to go radio silent for a while, much like Station Alexandria, except I hope to come back a better and stronger creature, maybe something evolved even. So find me in all those places and come listen to me pretend to be someone I'm not most of the time. And yeah, just pop on over. You'll enjoy it. We got good community stuff going on.
Hell yeah. Let's jump over to Meta. Who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to?
Hello, I am here and running up walls while they're on fire. That's it. I got nothing else. I'm kind of I need some processing time.
Right.
Just
Zach, same questions. Who are you? Where can we find you? What are you up to?
I am here this summer, and over on the Arvin Elrond channel, where Dot and I do the Our Vocalists, voice acting video games. Also, the Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks every other Saturday, sci-fi campaign, D&D and Esper Genesis. And then on my own channel and my own Twitter, just look up Zach Clay or Midday Clay or Guy with Afro, and you'll find me. Or you might find Bob Ross, which is equally, if not more, fine and better. So, yeah, that's me.
Fair enough. And last but not least, Dot, who are you? Where can we find you? What are you up to?
Hey everybody, I am Dot. You can find me online as Little Red Dot. Right now, all my energy is being poured into Cobalt Press because we made some pretty big announcements in the wake of the shift up here in the tabletop community. So that's the place you're going to find me the most. But the rest of the time, I'm over here now once a week on Thursdays, and the rest of the time, I'm with the Pod by Night podcast. So we've got a lot of cool stuff in the works. And even though Bub is taking a break, we have written in some juicy story details as to why his characters are gone. So really fun little addition there. Yeah, that's find me where Little Red Dots are found. Boop boop.
Hell yeah. That's it for us. We're out of here. We're gonna do our after show again. If you want access to that, it's exclusively over on our Patreon, the $5 tier. Click on that link. Go join us. It's $5 well spent every month. But for now, we'll see you guys next summer or this summer. So from all of us to you, bye-bye.
Bye.